Let's have some Thanksgiving fun with our favorite comedian slash commentator, Alex Stein. Alex, absolutely fascinating news out of the world of social media this week, with news that Elon Musk has put in a feature to his X platform that allows you to see where people are operating their accounts from. And lots of reports that, in fact, a lot of foreign-based social media accounts that claim to be American or Gazan or Palestinian or whatever are actually tearing apart debate. And a lot of these countless pro- and anti-MAGA influencers, people claiming they're in the Gaza Strip, whatever, they've all been found to be operating out of places like India, Pakistan, and Nigeria. I mean, I think my favorite, Alex, there was a guy who had been claiming to be a Palestinian starving in Gaza. Well, it was a nonsense account operating out of Poland. Alex Stein, give us your take on this fantastic bit of transparency that we now have into what's really happening on social media.
Well, once again, I got to hand it off to Elon Musk. You know, he did a great job giving us this transparency, because now we really know who's trying to influence these elections. And, you know, I think what's great is we need this transparency, because people think that this doesn't have an effect, but it does have an effect. But my favorite thing is Kyle Kalinske, who's one of the, worst left-leaning voices on Twitter. He shared a meme showing that, all of the racist memes were basically either bots or humans in India, proving that conservatives really aren't that racist, because we're not the ones that are trying to cause division and cause problems. Those are literally foreign agents from other countries. So this transparency kind of shuts down arguments on both sides, and it kind of lets the user know, why am I getting information from a random fake AI generated picture of an idiot that's in Bangladesh trying to influence an American election? It's absolutely ridiculous, and I love Elon for doing it.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with you. I think it's a fantastic move, but also I wonder, Alex, if this is going to have an effect. I think we've already started to see it in some of those articles that have been coming out, from left-wing publications highlighting or claiming that there was a big split in the American right between, kind of a racist alt-right and, just a basic sort of normal conservative patriotic right, and that a lot of the sort of stuff that they've been calling out as being part of this split actually doesn't really exist. It's just vaporware. It's bots.
100%. I mean, these are literal people that are just posting to cause rage bait. That's literally what they're posting. So these aren't real people. These aren't people with jobs that have, a family that they have to represent. These are people that are foreign actors pretending to be Americans, pretending to be conservatives, pretending to be alt-right, pretending to be, normal conservatives, pretending to be leftists, all to just cause division and to get people to argue. And, I like the argument that they are doing it for the monetization, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's really just, it's like the catfish mentality, how that TV show, people like to catfish people. People love this in foreign countries. They like having the power. I really think that they're power hungry when it comes to all these bot and fake and, foreign accounts pretending to be American accounts.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely been fascinating to, get a look under the bonnet there and see what's really going on. But that said, though, there are some other troubles here, because I was troubled by this poll I saw earlier today, which found that young conservatives, despite everything we've been talking about happening on X, in real life, apparently they're saying they are now feeling, despite the Trump administration, less comfortable sharing their political views now than they did at the start of the year. Nearly two-thirds said they were comfortable expressing their opinions earlier this year, but that number has fallen down to 51% in this latest survey tracking young people's political attitudes and their attitudes towards free speech. Is free speech still a bit in crisis in the U.S., Alex Stein, despite everything Donald Trump has tried to do to open up the universities and to push back against that cancel culture?
1,000% free speech is under attack here in our country of America. And let me tell you, the one reason why these kids are afraid to be, more open and passionate about their political beliefs, because what they witnessed just on September 10th was the brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk. And seeing that violence, some people kind of radicalized them to be more outspoken, but it also had the opposite effect for people that might have actually aligned with Charlie or might have aligned differently with Charlie. They're afraid that they might be a victim of violence for having that opinion, just outwardly and unapologetically. So I think you just see the political violence that's going on in our country, and that's why there's a trend towards college kids, especially conservatives, afraid to give their true political opinions on things.
It's a real shame, isn't it? Despite, as you say, everything that Donald Trump has tried to do to fight some of this here. And we're still seeing things that look like, we're back in the era of the Biden administration, too. I want you to have a look at this here. This is a professor at the University of Minnesota, Tim Walz's home state, of course, who says that there's a pandemic, not COVID, not bird flu or whatever else is coming down the pike next, but apparently there's a pandemic of whiteness. Have a listen.
There is a whiteness pandemic behind the racism pandemic, and that this begins in the family system where young children are socialized into the culture of whiteness within white families.
Alex, a whiteness pandemic. I mean, how are we still even talking in these sort of Biden-era terms, and yet this seems to be passing for academic thought now?
I mean, seriously, what is she calling for? Eugenics? I don't even know what she's trying to, mean by saying that everything is white culture. I think it's just American culture. I don't really think it needs to be, made so black and white and they have to make everything about race. You can just tell by the way that she speaks and kind of the perspective that she has. Everything is viewed in a racial, through a racial lens. And so everything is probably racist to her. And really and truly, I'm telling you, racism exists, but it's not as bad as people want to tell you on the internet or people think in America. Nobody's really going to disrespect you just for being a different race. And to be honest, I've seen a lot of conservatives now are kind of upset with some of these ICE raids for being a little insensitive. So I'm just telling you, people here in America are not as racist as that woman wants to make you believe. And that's the problem with our academia. All these college campuses, all they do, they don't teach kids how to be anything but victims.
Well, I think we know where the racism really exists in clips like that, hey, Alex. But, also, let's have a little bit of fun here. There was a story, I love this here. Competitive bodybuilder Jamie Booker. Well, she was stripped of her world championship title after it was discovered. Guess what? She was actually born a male. We knew where this story was going. And yet, I kind of feel like South Park predicted this a little while ago. Have a look at this. What a great case of art imitating life, hey, Alex?
I mean, really, the Simpsons were always famous for predicting things, but now South Park is the one predicting everything. And when it comes to this transgender weightlifter, supposedly it was an open secret that everybody knew Jamie was a boy and that they kind of just let it happen. And now, since, everything has kind of changed because of Riley Gaines and people are definitely, more willing to speak out when it comes to transgender athletes competing against biological women. So this is a good thing for the sport. Once again, another example of a guy getting in there and dominating with basically, not that much more experience. They could just go in there. If that guy was trying to compete against guys, if Jamie was in the guy level, wouldn't even, be in the top 10. But against the women, he's a world champion. So, it is what it is. We need to outlaw it. And transgender should have their own division. We can have the transgender division. I think that solves everything.
Well, that might do it. But hey, Alex, finally, before I let you go here, it is Thanksgiving weekend. I'm polling everybody on this one tonight. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Well, I've already had a bunch of it, but people are gonna make fun of me. I love the canned jelly. The jelly.
Thank you.
In the can of cranberry. It's so good. I put that on everything, on my rolls, on the stuffing. I mean, it just adds the sweetness and the savory and a little bit of spice. So good.
You're speaking my language, and I love even the little ridges on it when it comes slorking out of the can. Alex Stein, thanks so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend, and thanks for coming on the U.S. Report.